Dave McCann is our next guest, and joining us on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline, BYUtv play-by-play specialist. He was the courtside reporter from Madison Square Garden last night. Dave, nice to have you back on the show. How are you feeling after a whirlwind trip that's not quite over yet?
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's the best weather day of the week here in New York, and it's the day we are going to leave it and head home. The team flew out a few hours ago. They're probably over Nebraska right now, heading for Salt Lake City. And yeah, it is over. But today, as we got up, went to breakfast, it felt a lot like yesterday and the day before. It's seasons come and seasons go, and the beat goes on. It's what makes sports great, and just kind of, boy, it sure enhances our life, and it's been a fun season.
We got a vibe of what the team was like from your interviews with Kyle Davis yesterday on our postgame show, and then Nate Austin we heard a little earlier on the show this morning. What was the overall vibe you got from the team as the season ended last night?
I'll give you the best visual that I had is I saw Collinsworth hobbling out of Madison Square Garden with both knees ice bags taped on his knees as he was heading to the bus, and I thought, now there's a guy who left it all out there in his BYU career, and then a bit later we went out for some pizza, and the team was out on the street taking in some last-minute New York experiences, and we're laughing and smiling, and this is such a big trip. And to make it to the semis of the NIT for this group has been fun, and they lose by 2. The Aztecs got blown out. Even those guys later, once they got back to the hotel, and they know each other, and coaches know each other, and yeah, the game didn't go like they wanted. But this New York experience is such a big deal that I think they're all leaving pretty good, feeling pretty good.
We've seen some images that we're showing on BYUtv right now, one of Kyle Collinsworth embracing Dave Rose after the game was over, and then Dave congratulating Nick Emery and Zach Selyus, and then the 3 seniors at midcourt of Madison Square Garden. Is there a most memorable, I mean, I know you described the scene of Kyle walking off with the ice packs on his knee, but that's kind of a sad take. Is there more a happy visual that you take from Madison Square Garden last night?
Well, it wasn't really a sad take. It was a warrior, leaving the battlefield.
Good point.
And it made you feel proud of the program, the school, the guys that the men and women that put the jersey on and represent. And tough to feel bad. You always want to win, and the euphoria that comes from that, but after a few seconds, when the game is decided, then the reality sets in, and you look around and you go, you know what? I'm proud of these guys, and again, these men and women that represent us, and they represent the church and everything that BYU stands for. And I thought one of the coolest things for me, I'd never been to Madison Square Garden. The lighting, the music, the presentation was just spectacular. And I woke up this morning thinking about, you know what? That really is one of the coolest places on earth. And I've been to a lot of them, and I had never been to that one. It was spectacular. I wish everybody at some point can come and witness an event at Madison Square Garden. You walk outside in the Empire State Building staring right at you, and you're in a unique place.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I paid a pretty penny, and it was worth every penny to see a Knicks-Pacers playoff game. That was amazing. I looked at the scoreboard last night from some pictures and video. It looked just like the scoreboard BYU has in the Marriott Center. Did you notice that as well?
Yeah, I think it's the same group that put it together, and
pretty good.
When we're at BYU games, we're usually working, and so I don't really notice that. Last night, I took it all in, and those video boards are awesome. They really enhance the experience. And then when the George Washington band members jumped up in front of me, I could look up and at least see what was going on in those final seconds of the ball game. So I was very grateful for the big jumbo screens last night.
Dave McCann with us on BYU Sports Nation was courtside last night at Madison Square Garden for the NIT semifinal. Dave, as we turn the page to next season, and I know it's kind of hard to do that just one day later, but there is a lot of excitement surrounding the future of BYU basketball. How much improvement do you expect from BYU from one season this to the next?
It's hard to say. because this group, 26 wins with this group and how they got there has been pretty impressive, especially when you consider that the center position, Kafusi and Austin, they combined for an average of 8 points a game, and yet they still won 26 games. Last night, they had 5 points together, 11 rebounds, 2 turnovers in 29 minutes, and they only lost by 2. You shore up that position, and who knows? Had they been able to do that this year in all those close games that you mentioned a few moments ago, we might be talking about a whole different story. But in that area, I think they'll be much better. And I think Fisher's outside shooting will be tough to replace, but T.J. Haas is a spectacular shooter. Kyle and all that he does will be tough, but Nick Emery and Elijah Bryant, we've heard a lot of good things. He practices well. We'd watch him in practice all year. Those guys will bring their weapons to the table. Kyle Davis told us after the game when he was on live with us that he's going to work all summer on finishing at the rim. If he does that, then what would he be, the fourth or fifth option in that offense? All of a sudden, that's a really, really good group. And then Dastrup and Childs coming off the bench. I think they start on the road to the Final Four next year. I'm not sure which year they're going to get there, but there's two things to look at. That starting group and the fact that Larry Kraskowiak is running the opposite direction as fast as he can tells me that BYU is putting together something special. It's like Dave Rose is taking the Swiss cheese off his sandwich and he's putting on a slice of American cheese with no holes in it. And I think it's going to be a much more enjoyable sandwich.
That's some sharp cheese that BYU has rocking.
I like pepper jack, but I get the whole idea. Yeah.
I figured you were a pepper jack fella.
Dave, thanks for the time. We appreciate your efforts and work in New York City, and we wish you safe travels back to the great state of Utah.
Thanks, guys. It's been fun being on.